The Switch has been out for 3 years now, and in that time we've been spoilt for choice with some truly incredible titles. But you probably won't have time to play through the 3,500 strong library to find your favourite. So the team at Switch Player Magazine has put their heads together to bring you the definitive list of the top 40 games you can find on the Nintendo Switch. In this episode, we're kicking off the countdown with numbers 40 to 31, and we'll be back tomorrow to continue the list.
The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Boss is an expansion of a remake of a cult classic. Not for the faint of heart or stomach, it challenges you with its strict difficulty, unforgiving randomness, and adult themes aplenty. You'll struggle to find a roguelite with a wider variety of items, enemies, and secrets than this. It may have barely scraped its way into our top 40, much like how we scrape our way through its myriad of possible encounters, but we highly recommend this for anyone that loves a challenge.
A fast-paced nostalgic platformer inspired by golden era greats such as Castlevania, Super Metroid, and of course Ninja Gaiden, The Messenger takes the components that make those games so great and modernises them with new mechanics, resulting in moment-to-moment gameplay that is more satisfying and fluid than ever before. Shifting forwards and backwards in time on the fly between 8-bit and 16-bit aesthetics, there are plenty of inventive puzzles and platforming challenges that keep this one fresh and unique, despite its clear connections to formative classics of yesteryear. If you're into 2D platformers, you'll almost certainly have fun with it. A global gaming phenomenon that transcends platforms, it's no surprise that Fortnite grabs a spot on our list. The Battle Royale game mode is endlessly fun and easy to jump into, simple to learn yet difficult to master, and with Epic Games doing a great job with the optimization, the performance doesn't suffer on Switch. After an initial hiccup with crossplay thanks to Sony not playing nicely, you can now play across all gaming systems, meaning you can squad up with your friends no matter how they prefer to play. Better still, it's absolutely free to jump in.
Dark Souls is a series that has garnered more accolades than most have even come close to. With a hardcore fanbase and some of the deepest lore you can find in video games, it is no surprise to see the remaster of the original find its way onto this list. A masterful port job from the guys and gals of Virtuous has resulted in this title being possible on our favourite little handheld, where we can get good and prepare to die on the go. Here's to hoping the sequels eventually find their way to this Nintendo platform as well.
Riddled with problems at launch, My Time at Porcia was a game full of promise that failed to deliver due to a variety of performance issues. Pathia Games and Team 17 persevered, and what we have now is a delightful role-playing simulation game that sees you embark on a new life in Porcia. It's still not without fault, but it combines a number of ideas from many much-loved franchises and presents them in a way that is perfect for the Nintendo Switch. It may not be the complete package that Animal Crossing New Horizons is, but there is a lot to love here, and love it we do.
From Australian developers The Voxel Agents, The Gardens in Between is a masterclass in visual storytelling. It's one of those games that feels more at home on the Nintendo Switch than it would anywhere else, thanks in part to the cozy narrative which just feels more personal when you're playing in handheld. With its unique time manipulation mechanic, memorable art direction, and atmospheric soundtrack, the experience feels fresh and original, standing tall among the Nintendo Switch's indie offerings. It's an excellent choice for a rainy, reflective afternoon, and the game is well deserving of a place in the Switch Player Top 40. Despite what they tell you repeatedly in their eponymous song, there are better parties than an S-Club one, and Super Mario Party certainly fits the bill. Arguably the best Mario Party game for years, this title, the 11th in the series, features minigames galore with more than 80 to play across multiple boards. With different modes, loads of unlockable content, and tons of replayability, it's hard not to have a good time. It's not exactly groundbreaking, but it's a tremendous amount of fun, and that's very much welcome.
The Elder Scrolls Skyrim is one of those games that has made its way to every console at this point, with the developers even making an Amazon Alexa version to continue that joke. Regardless, we were ecstatic to have it come to the Nintendo Switch in its launch year, in a partnership with ZeniMax that has continued with releases of Wolfenstein, Doom, and more in the pipeline, with The Elder Scrolls Blades scheduled for a 2020 release. As one of the most beloved RPGs of all time, it is no surprise that The Elder Scrolls Skyrim made our list.
The Sonic series has had its share of ups and downs, with more downs than ups in the last decade. One of the high points for the series though is definitely Sonic Mania. It manages to capture all the magic of the original 2D games and succeeds in playing like you remember the originals rather than emulating how they actually feel. Not only is Sonic Mania one of the best Sonic games of all time, it also has one of the best soundtracks of any game currently on the Switch. So this is a must-have for any fan of 2D platforming.
Enter the Gungeon is a game about bullets. Enemies, weapons and bosses all take the form of a bullet, raining hell onto inexperienced players who have not yet mastered the dodge roll technique. Underneath all the lead and lasers, you have a hilarious twin-stick shooter with roguelike elements that plays fantastically on the Switch. The randomization of levels and bosses will reel you into an all-nighter, only to be beaten by a frog that blows bullet bubbles. It's a shame that its sequel, Exit the Gungeon, did not live up to expectations, but Enter the Gungeon absolutely deserves a spot on our list of the best Switch games.
So that's just some of the games we voted as the best on the Nintendo Switch. Join us next time when we'll be continuing our countdown with numbers 30 to 21. In the meantime, let us know in the comments below what your top 40 games are for the system. And don't forget you can support us on Patreon to get a copy of our print magazine for only $4.